are you? Welcome to our first live in the month of July. We are talking about consistency. If you're in the academy, you will know that we've been talking about consistency all through the month. Let me start by asking you a question. Have you ever taken your time to research people who are making so much success in their corner, no matter what they are doing, in their sphere of life, they are making success? Have you ever sat down to research it? Because it is quick for us to say, oh, some people have grace, some people are lucky, some people have the platform already, they have the connection. But have you ever sat down to look at how they actually they are making success, whether in parenting, whether in marriage, whether in ministry, anything? Have you sat down? One of the things I have come to realize is that, see, one of the greatest strategy of success is actually consistency. Many people, if not every single person who is making success in their space, has been consistent. Compared to lips, people just get, oh, one big break, one big leap like that. We think very many times when people get one major break, if they are not being able to follow up consistently, they crash land, they go back to point zero. So you see, consistency is the main and major secret to anything we want to do. Now, this is why in the Visionary Parents Academy, this month of July, haven't gone through reparenting yourself in the month of June, looking at those things sabotaging us, those things holding us back from achieving the goals we actually want to achieve as human beings, fulfilling our potentials, whether in marriage, in parenting, in our careers, in every single endeavor of life. Having gone through that, having dug into our past, how we're raised, the seeds that were planted in us, we decided that this month we are going to deliberately learn the habits that will actually help us be better, habits that will help us get to where we want to get to, habits that will help us achieve our potentials. We want to get into the habit, and for us to get into the habit, we want to be consistent. We want to show up consistently. We want to be very faithful to ourselves, so that we can win eventually. So this month of July is all about consistency. And if you're in the Visionary Parents Academy, you agree with me that today is day 7. We have just been looking at tiny habits we need to practice every day. When we talk about consistency, talking about achieving success in general, we are not looking at one big thing, one big break, one big opportunity. That is not what we are looking at, even though very many people always think, oh, they need one big break, one big opportunity to be successful. I tell you something for free. I have studied people who are successful, and I have realized that it is not always one big break. You can even get that big break, and if you do not know how to follow up consistently, you are going to see yourself back to ground level, back to ground zero. So it's not one big break, it's not one big habit, rather it is one tiny thing you need to begin to do consistently. There is a saying that, see, to change a habit, start small. It is how you are consistent with that tiny one you are starting with, that you are going to achieve the goals you are going to achieve. So today, the Visionary Parents Academy, we are looking at the science of consistency. I know very many of us already know about consistency. I mean, about 2 years ago, I came here and talked about, how I watched Pastor Jerry Eze on YouTube talking about how he has shown up every single day consistently. Because when people see him recording so much success, we say, this man just has grace. This man is in grace. But the truth of the matter is, when I listened to him that day, he said, every single day for the past 2 years since I started this altar, I have shown up every single day. He has shown up every single day consistently. As I'm talking about this now, I'm just remembering people I know who are making so much success in their space and how they have been consistent. Hi, thank you for joining me, ma. Sir, ma. I think it's ma. Thank you for joining, ma. I know a lot of people. I can just start naming people who they were not super great when they started. Oh, they learned on the job. They were not great when they started. They struggled, they learned, they even used people. But guess what? Their breaking even power was showing up consistently. See, everyone, if you can cultivate that habit of consistency in you, whether in your parenting, in your marriage, in your career, you can look at where you are struggling and then decide that you want to learn one habit and you show up consistently. I tell you that your life will be transformed. Now, this is where the Visionary Parents Academy. So I want to encourage you, if you're a visionary parent, I beg, every single message you drop every day, every tip we share every day, don't take it for granted. Take it and run with it as if your life depends on it. Because frankly, your life depends on it. Showing up consistently, I know one of the major struggles I have had over time is consistency. A lot of us, we know so much, we have knowledge. The other day I wrote on Facebook, I said there is what we struggle with is not knowledge. It's not that we do not know what to do, but what we struggle with most of the time is execution. We have the head knowledge. I was telling a parent yesterday morning that she was complaining about her son. She was talking about, I've taught him over and over again. How come? I said, yes, it's one thing to have the head knowledge. It's one thing now to have the ability to put it into practice. It's not about having the head knowledge. It's about that discipline to put it into practice. That is it. A lot of us don't already know about consistency, but we are not able to practice it. So in the Visionary Parents Academy this month, it's all about consistency. Again, I want to tell you, we are reading the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. It is one book that has transformed my life. It is one book that actually helped me move from struggling path to a path that is more defined. I told you already, I wrote the book, this guide, parenting structure guide, when I read that book, Atomic Habits. So we're reading it in the Visionary Parents Academy. You want to take it seriously because that book will transform your life. I was saying that I have a couple of books that I do not play with, and Atomic Habits is definitely one of the books I do not play with. So I want to encourage you to grab the book and join us so that when we are doing the review by month end, you have something to say. You are not just a bench woman. No matter how busy you are, he that will find a way. He that will not will find an excuse. So no matter how busy you are, you can still make a way to read the book daily. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Enimien Oruebor, and this is the Visionary Parents Academy with Enimien Oruebor. Now, this channel is by the Visionary Parents Academy. The Visionary Parents Academy is an academy where parents get to be empowered. Parents get to be empowered with knowledge, with skills, with the self-confidence, with this confidence to raise the children they actually have. We see a lot of things going on every day. If I share with you what I hear every day, like, we really need to learn. We need to learn. We need to learn as parents. We cannot keep giving excuses. I just made a video now I have not shared. Hopefully I'll share after this class on Facebook. A woman is trending for threatening a girl with knife. I call it threat because I believe that she didn't actually want to go through with it. Coincidentally, I saw a video where a woman was talking about how her parents did that same thing to her years ago as a child. Her parents got away with it. They did that and they got away with it. Now, this same woman is doing it to her niece or her child, and someone has recorded her and she's trending for the wrong reason. So I always say, see, your parents got away with it. It was not a big deal to them. You may not get away with it. If you're not seeking knowledge this time in your parenting, you just put yourself inside a very big mess. So everyone, you need to seek knowledge, intentional, because times are evolving. Things are changing. When you want to use a new gadget that you have not used before, or even if you have used gadget A, you upgrade to gadget 2, you also want to sit down deliberately and learn how it functions. Learn the difference, how it functions, and what you can do. What is the improved version all about? What makes it improved? The same thing happens in parenting. We cannot just parent by default. We have to be intentional. We have to learn. So I want to encourage you, if you're not in the Visionary Parents Academy, you want to send a message and join us, because what we do there is actually to learn, to skill us up, and to help us get the confidence to raise whole, healthy children. Children, like I always say, the world will bless us for, not the ones the world will curse us for. Thank you for joining. And if you are seeing this video for the first time, I tell you, we have a whole, hello, thank you for joining. If you are seeing this video for the first time, we have a whole lot of resources in this channel, over 200 master classes. They are very good, and what you need to do is just go back and watch these videos. Take your time, watch the videos. I always say to parents that, see, you don't need to see my face. What you need to do when you are doing your chores at home, you can be listening, hearing my voice, hearing the message I'm passing. Hearing the message, that is a big deal, because the videos we have here, the classes we've had so far, they are practical, they are transformational. They help you move from where you are in your parenting to actually where you want to be in your parenting. So and we don't just do parenting in the Visionary Parents Academy because, hey, we need to model growth to our children. We need to model to our children. Children see us and they learn a great deal from us. So one of the things we also do in the Visionary Parents Academy, we make sure we grow. We make sure we learn. We make sure that every aspect of our lives, our children are seeing us because they are watching us, they are learning. So we want to be intentional, whether our health, whether our career, whether our ministry, whether our relationship with people around us, we want to be intentional. It is why it is not parenting books we read all year round. Like this month, we are reading Atomic Habits. And Atomic Habits is not a parenting book. It's a self-development book, because when you grow, when you develop yourself, your children will see you and they will learn from you. It is a major part of parenting. So you can, if you are joining us again for the first time, what you want to do is to subscribe to this channel, is to watch our videos, like them, drop comments on our videos, and most especially you want to copy the link and you want to share. You want to let other parents know that, see, there's a place here where you can actually learn for free. You can learn, you can be transformed, and you can be a better parent and a better person for yourself. So thank you for joining me. So today is our first live class on nurturing, cultivating consistency in you, because we want to be consistent in the things we do. We also want to raise children who are consistent. So if you don't have it, you can't give it. So we are starting by giving ourselves consistency, nurturing it in ourselves before we now say, okay, because we now have it, we can give it to our children either through teaching or even modeling. We want to start by looking at the signs of consistency. What makes it difficult for us to be consistent? Now, like I said, everyone I've seen, everyone I know, every single person I know, actually they have idea. We all have ideas. We know these things. We know consistency works. But the problem with us is we are not able to be consistent. It is why today we are looking at why we can't be consistent. What is the problem with us being consistent? Because when you know the problem, you are already halfway into the solution. So let's start. What is consistency? Consistency is the ability to repeatedly do things right over time, even when you do not feel like doing them again. You know, that is one thing about consistency. A lot of us, our dopamines are high when we just start a new habit. Even parenting, when you just learn something, okay, in your parenting, somebody says gentle parenting, someone tells you gentle parenting is not what you hear on social media. It actually means have boundaries, be firm, and all of that. We are always excited. Our dopamines are high. We want to get into gentle parenting. The first time we try it and, it's working. Oh my God, I found a solution. The second time we try it, we are happy. By the time we try it 4 times, 5 times, the energy is going down. Sometimes we are not in the mood. Now, consistency is you being able, mood or no mood, to keep going. Identifying that tiny habit you want to learn. Identify that tiny step you need to take on your progress ladder to move up. And do it repeatedly. Be consistent. Do it repeatedly. That is consistency. Following through with them day after day, regardless of your emotions, circumstances, or level of motivation. Consistency is not about being perfect. You do not have to be perfect. I saw a video yesterday. The lady was saying that she's very delusional, and she was trying to break it down. She said because very many times she has an idea, she doesn't know how it's going to end, she doesn't know how the middle will look like, but she just has this idea and she knows that it's a fantastic idea, so she gets into it. Like sometimes people say and they tell her, this thing, are you thinking it through? She gets into it, and so she is able to skate through most of the times. Does she struggle? She struggles, but she's still able to win most of the times. And I tell you something, showing up consistently is just like you have a big log of wood. You may not be able to cut it at once, but when you keep hitting the axe on it every now, one day it is going to cut, it's going to split, it's going to separate. Consistency. So many people assume that successful people are naturally gifted. We see that a lot. Highly motivated or simply lucky. I said that at the start of this class. In reality, success is more often the result of consistent habits than occasional moments of excellence. One extraordinary day cannot replace months of faithful effort. Like as one bad day does not erase months of progress. It is just the truth. We see people, we say, oh, they are lucky, they have grace. If we want to be serious with ourselves, if you study people who are actually successful in their fields, you will realize that it is not just one day, it is a long way from consistency. They have been consistent. I was saying it in the Visionary Parents Academy this morning that one of the reasons why our children still struggle with what we want them to do, they still struggle to meet our expectations, is we are not consistent. So I want to give you this as your first task. If you are struggling with your child showing up in a particular way, if you have expectations of your children and they are struggling to meet them, ask yourself, how consistent are you? How consistent have you been? Because what we do very many times is, some days we say okay, some other days we say anything goes. Some days anything goes, some days anything we insist. Some days we are bringing down the roof of the house. Some days we are allowing. We are not consistent. So because we are not consistent, our children too are not serious with it. Because they want to gamble it. Okay, maybe today mom will be consistent. Mommy will allow me. Maybe tomorrow she will insist. So I want to try it. I want to gamble it. Today I may be lucky and she will let me pass. One of the reasons why we keep complaining about certain behaviors of our children and they are not showing up consistently. We see it in children. We say one day off, one day on. What is wrong with you? Yesterday you got it right, today you are not getting it right. Because even for us as parents, we are not consistent. We are not constantly demanding it. So now imagine planting a seed you cannot water. You cannot water it once and expect it to become a tree. It requires regular watering, sunlight, patience, and care. In the same way, our goals, relationships, careers, businesses, parenting, and personal growth require consistent effort for us to flourish. We know that already. Now, one thing about consistency, I was just telling myself today, I said, some people, they are natural. At some things they are just supernatural, and while some people they are still struggling. And I realized that people that we think are natural, they've passed through the stages of consistency. I've come to realize that consistency has stages. People you think are natural, they have passed through the stages of consistency. There is the natural stage of consistency, and guess what? See, that natural state is what we all admire, is what we all envy, because that is where the result is at the peak. So we see them, that is what we see, and we say, oh, these people have grace, these people have energy, these people are lucky, they have the stamina, they were wired like this. Maybe it's their personality. God just wired this thing and put it as part of who they are because they have become natural. There are phases, there are 13 stages in that personality profile, consistency profile. To get to that natural, you have to go through the other stages before it. We don't see that. Sometimes when we even see that, we laugh at people. It is when they become natural after a practice, sacrifices, we will now say, ah, these people, we envy them. We actually want to be like them. Before we go into why people struggle to be consistent, let's look at why consistency is important. Before then, I would like to say this because I wrote it down and I don't want to forget to say it. Consistency is choosing discipline when motivation fades. It is continuing with when excitement wears off. You know, a lot of us, we rely on motivation. That is it, motivation. We get motivated, we get pumped up. Oh, parenting, yeah, you come here, you listen to one video, one class, you say, I am going to do this, I am going to do this. I have motivated you. So after a while, you are not hearing the message again. Your daily routine sets in naturally. You are just relaxed. You have forgotten what you plan to do. You have forgotten all those excitements you had and everything. You have forgotten them. So you just naturally just slide into your normal self. Consistency is you cultivating the discipline to keep going when the motivation fades. Because sometimes we are not motivated. Sometimes we seem we are not even getting the answers, so the results rather. Sometimes we don't even feel up to it because we are human beings, because it is not a natural part of us. Consistency is something learned. You must learn it. We have to learn it. So sometimes we are not, because it's not natural, because we have not trained ourselves to it. Motivation doesn't last forever, and when motivation fades, consistency is you now cultivating the discipline to show up despite low motivation. Let's talk about why consistency is important to you. One of the major reasons why, as a parent, as adults, not just parents, no matter who you are, you must develop consistency is because, one, it builds trust in you. Very many times we don't trust ourselves. I don't know how best to break this down. Self-trust is one of the greatest trusts you can have. Very many times we are not able to do what we want to do. It is not because we cannot do it. We can actually do it, but because we have betrayed ourselves very many times, we now think, we give excuses. We are relaxed. Not because we cannot. But we have not trained ourselves to show up. We are not consistent. Let me ask you, sit down and ask yourself, how many times have you said you want to do something? Or how many times have you had opportunities and these opportunities will pass you by? You know you are capable. You know you can. But these opportunities will just pass you by. It is not always because you are lazy. It is because you do not trust yourself. And you do not trust yourself because you have not been faithful to yourself. You have not been faithful to yourself because you have not been consistent. I remember one time I was encouraging parents in the Visionary Parents Academy to go around teaching, look for schools where you can teach. And the parent said to me, I actually have a school around me, but I do not want to a situation where I will go today, I will not go tomorrow, I will not be consistent. Now, go back and ask her, can you not be consistent if you want to be consistent? Yes, she can be consistent if she wants to be consistent. She can actually go, because what I mean by that is that she does not have a valid reason not to go the days she will just be relaxed at home. Because she was saying, I do not want to be inconsistent. And I tell you, she doesn't have a valid reason for the days she fears she'll be inconsistent. But guess what? She wasn't able to take it up because she doesn't trust herself. She has not trained herself to show up despite anything. She has not trained herself to show up, to find that will to always show up. She has not trained herself. So because of that, she knows that she may not be consistent. So one of the major disservice we do to ourselves is not trusting ourselves. It's not trusting ourselves. That is why very many times we are not as productive as we want to be. Even in parenting, people will say, I know myself, I am not going to do it. I know myself, I cannot tolerate this. I know myself. It is not because you are wired not to be able to tolerate that. It is not because you are wired not to be able to show up in that way. It's actually because you have not trained yourself. So you do not trust yourself. You have not trained yourself. So, and training yourself means you have not shown up, you have not tried, and you have not shown up consistently. So you have not trained yourself, so you are not faithful to yourself. So when you say, I trust myself, I cannot, you are super valid because you have not trained yourself. Consistency. So if you are inconsistent, I tell you something, you will not trust yourself. And if you do not trust yourself, you will not be able to be as productive as you want to be. You will not be able to be as efficient as you want to be. You will not be able to be that person, whether that parent, whether that leader, whether that wife, whether that friend that you actually want to be, because you have not trained yourself. Consistency. When you are not consistent, you don't trust yourself. You can't even show up for yourself because you are not consistent. Consistency is a big factor in success. So is a big factor in success. Whether your career, your parenting, your marriage, your spiritual life. Yes, your spiritual life. I've not been talking about that. I'm talking about it now. Your spiritual life. Consistency is a big factor. Now, number 2 reason why you need to be consistent. Other people begin to trust and rely on us because you are dependable. When you are consistent, you are predictable, you are dependable, you are reliable. Your children know you, they can predict you. Your spouse can predict you. Even at work, you are predictable. People just know you, okay, this is who you are. Okay, this is who you are. They know that they cannot push the goalpost when it comes to you. I was telling someone one time, he was saying that he's a social drinker. I said, social drinker, what does that even mean? I said, that is peer pressure. When you say you are a social drinker, you are just peer pressured. You are drinking because your friends are drinking, not because you want to drink. In the comfort of your home, you don't drink. You don't wake up and go and buy alcohol and start drinking on your own. You drink because everybody around you, they are drinking. Everybody is drinking. That's peer pressure for you, And I was telling him that something. I said, see, one thing you don't realize is that when you have told yourself, no, I will not be peer pressured into drinking, rather, I want to do water. I want to stay consistent. I said, people will learn to trust you. They know you. I told him, I said, see, people will even know that you are strong-willed, you are a man of your own, you are not easily peer pressured. They will see that as part of you. Especially if you have consistently asked for water where everybody is drinking alcohol. Consistently, every single time. They will learn to trust you. Guess what? That single act of consistently saying no to alcohol when others are drinking, we give them the mindset that this person is this way. So this person, if he says yes, it is yes. Because you have consistently upheld that your principle of no alcohol. So they will trust that when you say something, you can also consistently uphold it. When you are consistent, people learn to trust you. You are predictable. Whether at work, your spouse, your husband, your children rather, you are predictable. And another thing is, we all know that consistency is repetition. You're doing it consistently. You build skills. If there's a habit you are struggling with, just push yourself to do it consistently, repeatedly. Before you know what is happening, you have gotten into the habit. You've learned it. You have moved from the stages, the stage 1 of consistency, to the last stage, and it has become a natural part of you. Of course, you create a positive habit at the end of the day. You don't want to be consistently creating a negative habit. You want to consistently create a positive habit. You reduce stress. Yes. You reduce that stress. That initial stress of learning a new habit. When you become consistent, it becomes a natural part of you. So, that stress of looking for motivation, reward, struggling with self-discipline and all of that, it is totally taken away when you have become consistency. We make steady progress instead of constantly starting. That is consistency. When we talk about consistency, we are talking about you doing it. It's not one big thing, just starting big. It is you doing it small. You take this. That is why anytime I talk about goal setting to parents, I always say something that Don't, if you say, okay, oh, I'm a parent, my emotions are always off the roof, I rate myself 0/10. I actually want to become more emotionally intelligent. I want to respond calmer. I want to seek to understand, and all those things we talk about when we talk about becoming emotionally intelligent. I always say to parents, you just, because we have a meter and a yearly meter we use, I always say, don't say from year, level 1 or level 2, you just automatically want to get to level 7. No, start small. Level 1, your goal can be level 2. You start small. When you have mastered level 2, reward yourself and move to level 3 and level 4. That is it. When you are consistent, you just progress. Now let's go. We are going into why it is difficult for us to be consistent. Number 1 is the brain craves novelty over routine. The brain is always craving new things. We know that. It is why you see something, oh, you are super excited about it. Your dopamine, it's high. You are drunk in that thing. You are excited about it. After a short period of time, it seems like no longer exciting. What we call see finish would have entered. So after see finish has entered, it is no longer as exciting as it used to be. You begin to crave for something new. That is natural. It is science. It is how the human brain is wired. It is always seeking new things, new experiment, new experience, new exciting things, constantly seeking it. That is one of the reasons why to be consistent is hard. You have done something, you're supposed to repeat it consistently and get somewhere, but your brain is seeking new things. See, at this point now, this is where you need to do the work. There are 3 stages. I have 3 stages of, if you research, you find different stages, but I have 3 stages of consistency. The first one is that will, where your will is what will guide you, where your will is your will is your strongest strategy. That phase, that is first consistency, that stage where the dopamine, the excitement is gone and you don't want to give up. You want to be consistent. The excitement is gone, but you want to keep going. That stage of consistency, you need to force it. You need to force it. That is the very first stage of consistency. You need to force it. The excitement is no longer there. You no longer feel like doing it. You do not have a choice. You have to force it. You have to keep going. It is your will against your comfort now. It is your will against the brain constantly seeking novelty. It is your will. That your strong will. This is where nobody can help you. That first phase. Now, it is in this first phase, I always tell people, one of the things you can do is create a reward system, because in this particular phase, the reward is not there. You are not really seeing the reward, because the stress is more than the reward. You are not really seeing the reward. It's like someone, you want to stop taking some drinks, for example. That particular first stage of consistency, you have to bring out all the will you have in you. Bring them all out. The discipline you have in you to fight it. Because at this phase, once you just say, okay, I want to stop, you realize that after a while, you may not be able to continue. Your body just goes back. You have to bring out all the will in you. So one of the things I always say, it is at this stage you have an accountability partner. I talked about it in the other videos. I've talked about it over and over again. You cannot do life alone. If you want to change, if you want to grow, you cannot do life alone. If you want to be true to yourself, you cannot do life alone. You need someone to always be there for you. Someone to always push you, to motivate you. Because every single time in that your starting phase, your motivation will fade. Your motivation will fade. It is why in the Visionary Parent Academy, I say a lot of things. I say use it as your screensaver. I say put it on your door, put it on your kitchen refrigerator, put it around you. All that, they are for motivation. I say structure your home. Make sure your home is constantly, it serves as a reminder. All that, they are motivation. For you to be motivated. So one more thing you can do is to have someone, a partner, someone who can tell you the truth, someone who can always motivate you, someone who you are in it together. We cannot do life alone. As a Christian, I always want to refer to some Bible portions I have seen that have talked about how about having friends, having people around you can serve as a very good strategy to move to the next level you want to go. I always talk about the paralytic. What about the man beside the pool that said nobody has nobody to put him inside the pool, inside the river? Because of that, he suffered years of affliction. What somebody would have just put him there and he'll be cured. He suffered years of affliction. Now we also have the story of the other man who had friends who were able to put him through the roof, did everything to lower him down at the feet of Christ, and he was cured. Friends, network. You don't have these people don't necessarily have to be your paddy. They don't have to be your friends, but they are just relationship of convenience, of a common goal. We have a common goal. They are your study mates. For students, for example, your study mates doesn't have to be your bestie. The person you sit in class with doesn't have to be your bestie. Even the person you see every day, you walk to school together, they don't have to be your bestie. So as adults if you are someone who says, no, I don't have friends, so I've never had friends, it's okay. But just have someone you can progress together. Someone you know, okay, they have a vision, they know where they are going to. Your ideas may not always be same, but you have a common vision to grow, to progress. You work together because motivations, you have not trained yourself. You have not trained yourself enough to be able to stand and say, no, I am going to do this despite all odds. There's a saying that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with people. This is exactly where I want to rest this, the brain always seeking novelty from. I want to rest it on. Yes, the brain is always seeking new things. It's always seeking new things, always excited about new things. So for you to work on this, you need self-discipline. You need, because your motivation will fade, you need to keep going. Like I said, the Visionary Parents Academy, it is where we keep talking about strategies, things to remind us. We say set alarm, constant alarm, periodic alarm. I have an alarm in my phone that rings every 1 hour, and it says, what are your goals for today? How many of your goals have you smashed? Nobody will fight this battle for you. Get up and stand up and get going. I don't remember the lyrics now. My children always remember it because the alarm wakes us up. The alarm rings by 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 until I think 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. because the alarm is always there to take me back. If I'm deviating from the course of the day, it tells me, hey, go back to your plans for the day, kind of. So the brain is always seeking new excitement, exciting things. And I've taught you how to deal with that part of it. The next one is one of the reasons why consistency is difficult for very many people is because they are driven by mood. We know this. We are driven by mood. You hear, I don't feel like. I'm not in the right frame of mind. When I teach my teenagers this, I teach them that, see, when you grow up, you have your family, you have your bills to pay. Your bills will not tell you they don't feel like. You have responsibility to your children. They will not tell you they don't feel like. That responsibility to your workplace, to your spouse, to your career, to your spiritual life, to your neighbors, to your... You have responsibility. You own responsibility to people, things, events, everything and around you. And responsibility will not tell you they do not feel like. So don't work on mood. Work on your commitments. Have your goals and work with them, not on your mood. And the same thing, one of the reasons we are not consistent as adults is because we are waiting for our moods. We are relying on our moods. Talking about the brain seeks novelty, let me go back to that. I just remembered now. Even in parenting, we see it happens every time. As a parent, you are scrolling social media, you see one advice, you pick it up, you are using it. And tomorrow you pass social media again, you see another advice, you pick it up, you start that again. Next tomorrow, you see another advice. You are not consistent. Before you know what is happening, you are jumping from time out to tokens to smacking to time in. You are jumping from one to another, and at the end of the day, you are not able to ascertain which one is effectual, which one is actually effective. Then you say, I beg you, all this visionary parenting, all this intentional parenting, gentle parenting, they are not effective. They are not effective because you did not sit down with one and exhaust it. Instead, you were moving from one to another. So they are not effective. So I was talking about mood driven. We are mood driven. We want to do things when we are in the mood. We want to rely on our moods to show up. You have your goals. You have where you are going to. You want to rely on your mood. I am not in the mood. And you know what? As women, I really don't blame us, because the way we are wired, our hormones, every woman has, in our monthly cycle, we have different phases. And each phase comes with its own peculiarities. So there are some months we are super excited. There are some days we are super excited. There are some days we just want to pull the blanket over and sleep. It is how we are wired. But that is why we have grown. That is why self-awareness is important. You want to understand. You want to learn to show up despite your mood. Because the truth of the matter is, the world will not look at your mood to demand what they demand from you. Your expectations of your children, of your spouse, of your career, of your spiritual life, the expectations will not look at your mood to make demands. So why will you wait for your mood? Yes. So what do you want to do? You want to cultivate the lifestyle that will help you understand that, hey, that will help you walk, that will help you be in charge of your mood. My mood is not in charge of me. I'm the one in charge of you as my mood. So you want to deliberately cultivate the lifestyle that will help you show up despite your mood. I always tell my children, I wake up every day, sometimes 5 o'clock most of the time, sometimes earlier than 5, and I told drop messages in the Visionary Parents Academy. And I always tell them that very many times I do not feel like, but I will have to show up because it is a commitment. I have to show up. I have to read through and see, are there any questions I need to give personalized responses to? I have to check all of that. So I have to read. So even if we have 50 messages, we have 70 messages, I have to take my time to read them one after the other. Even if I was present in class the previous day, I went through. The morning, I still have to go through them so that I don't forget what I read yesterday and start just giving a response that will not work for that particular peculiar question. Something I feel like sleeping in bed all through. So mood, one of the reasons we are not consistent is because we are always watching our mood. We don't feel like. I always say to people, see, yes, you don't feel like because you are doing something for yourself. What if you were in a paid employment? As in, you are in a paid employment. What if you were paid to raise these particular children, and you had a manual to follow? Will you raise them based on mood? You are a nanny, you had manual, you need to show up. Will you follow your mood? Will you tell them, oh, I'm not in the mood? Will you tell them, I don't feel like answering you today? Will you tell them, I'm not in the happy mood, so I want to smack you? If you were asked to raise, okay, let's look for which is the biggest royal family in the world. You have an idea the kind of children they will want. If you were paid to raise their children, you won't raise them based on mood. You won't raise them based on mood. You don't have a choice. You are going to follow the manual. You're going to follow the contract. The same thing. Very many of us, we work based on mood. We show up based on mood. So please, like I told you, you want to learn healthy lifestyle. Healthy lifestyles. Yes, as women, we have our different phases, and some of them, they induce certain moods that we do not even want. This is why you need to be self-aware. You have to know what goes on within your body. Then you also understand the lifestyle that will help you always rise above your mood. The food you will eat that will help you rise above your mood. Now imagine you are in that phase of the month where you are naturally just dull and draggy, nothing is exciting. Then you are still loading yourself with heavy food that make you feel so sleepy. What do you think is going to happen? Recipe for not showing up. You're already feeling draggy because of the phase you are. Then you are nasty eating. For example, if I eat akara and pap, I'm dazed, I'm knocked out. Even if I don't feel sleepy, I just start feeling as if someone is just dragging me. So imagine you are in that phase of the month, and then you are still mind what you eat, mind also what you listen to. Because imagine you are in that draggy phase of the month, and then you are still listening to depressing information, taking in depressing messages. That is a period of your life where you are comparing yourself with people who you feel are doing better than you. You see, that period, you are just going to be super unproductive. That period, you are going to be super unproductive. So be self-aware. Understand yourself. Understand your phase, the phases of your monthly cycle. Understand them. Understand the food you will eat. Understand the information you will get. Understand where you will go. Understand how these things affect your mood. And understand when your mood is most vulnerable. Okay. Maybe we should take it further. This further in the Visionary Parent Academy. Number 3, when it comes to parenting, not being on the same page with your spouse is one of the major reasons you are not consistent. I mean, even at work and all of that, you hear people say, my husband said I should come and cook fresh food. My wife needs me to show up and all of that. They cannot be consistent. So not being on the same page. Because if you are on the same page with your spouse, you're always going to do everything together. Not like do everything together. They already know your schedule. So you are not afraid that they are going to be offended if you do not show up the way they want you to show up. Because you are on the same page with them. You are not afraid that you are going to get home and the home is going to be heated up because you don't meet certain expectations when you were meeting another expectations. So being on the same page with your spouse, if you are married, if you are not married, it is why it is not negotiable that both of you must have a vision. Not just having a vision, you must understand what it takes to achieve that vision you have. Break it down. It's not just about values, it's not just about goals, but daily expectations, daily habits, daily tiny habits that will help you achieve that. So because if you're not on the same page with your spouse, you can't be consistent. It's not possible, except you choose that particular thing over your spouse. Even in your parenting, you will not be consistent. You will say A, your spouse will say B. Sometimes you want to prove a point. Sometimes your spouse wants to prove a point. Not being on the same page with your spouse will make you not consistent. We are going to look at all of this holistically, talk about how to be on the same page with your spouse, and talk about your brain seeking novelty, what you can do. We've talked about them already, but we are going to talk, well, we talked about them in bits. So we are going to talk about them more holistically. So in all your parenting, in all your career, ministry, everything, you definitely want to be on the same page with your spouse. Here is one big one: setting unrealistic goals. You cannot be consistent if your goals are unrealistic. Yes, I want to share this. I shared in the Visionary Parent Academy. A parent said, we're talking about goals. Was it not yesterday? We're talking about goals, and she said, I hope NEPA will give us light to achieve our goals. And I said, that is not a realistic goal. No. If your goal has to depend on NEPA, it is not a realistic goal. So when we talk about realistic goals, It simply means that you have checked out all the factors. Everything is already sorted in place. What you need to do is just your hand to do it. I tell my children that you cannot set a goal. You cannot set a goal depending on me, depending on my appearance, as in showing up for you, depending on my provision for you. You can't set a goal based on my time. You cannot say, okay, the school has given me a project to do. I am going to submit this project on Wednesday. Meanwhile, you are coming to meet me for money to buy that material. That is not a goal. A goal is when you know that, okay, I have this money set aside already, so I'm going to use this money to buy this material. That is it. You cannot set a goal and say, okay, the school has given me a project, mommy will go to town and buy the materials for me. No, so I'm going to submit it on Friday. That is not a goal, because I may not go to town, I may not have the money. So what happens? You are not able to achieve that goal. So when we say goals are realistic, before you even set your goals, you want to make sure that every single factor that we need, every single resource, every single thing that goes into you achieving that goal is sorted. It is why when we are talking about goal setting, we always talk about what obstacles do you envisage? What obstacles may be in your way of achieving the goals? So what you want to do is to make provision for the obstacles, because for them to be goals, nothing will hold you. Nothing is holding you. It is why you see football, in the game of football, it is when you score it inside that is a goal. Every obstacle has been surmounted. So you score the goal. It is a goal when you have scored it. The same thing happens to you setting your goals. You have envisioned the end, and every single thing that will make it not possible to achieve that goal is taken away. It is a goal. But when you have envisioned it, you see that something is going to be an obstacle. It is not a goal. It's still a guesswork, because that obstacle may go, that obstacle may not go. It is still a guesswork. It is not a goal. It is a goal when every single obstacle has been foreseen, and how strategies to surmount them has been or have been finalized, finished. That is a goal. So one of the reasons we are not consistent, because we set unrealistic goals. Our goals are unrealistic. We just set one bogus goal. So when we now face the goal, we now begin to struggle. So at the end of the day, we are not able to set the goals. I remember one time someone talked about structure and put a sample on Facebook. That is not a realistic goal, for example, structure. Because everything on that goal is not possible. You are not a robot. Your children are not robots. It's not possible. It's not possible for you to achieve them. It's not. So like a parent, you have a goal for your child to learn a particular skill, and you look around you, you don't even have the resources. It is not a goal. Or you don't even have a place where they can learn it. It is not a goal. That should not even be in your wish list. Okay, maybe in your wish list. It's not going to be in your goal list at all, because it is not a goal. Because if you set it as a goal, at the end of the day, you are not able to achieve it. A goal you must be able to achieve your goals. Your goal must be achievable. Achievable. You must be able to achieve your goal. So being able to achieve it simply means that there is nothing holding you from not achieving it. Sorry, I'm emphasizing on that too much. Okay, I've talked about that. So very many times we are not able to be consistent because we set goals that are not realistic. So we get into it and we realize, oh my God, we can't go further. There's a roadblock, and we quit. We go into another thing. Oh, there's a roadblock. We quit. We go into another thing. There's a roadblock. We quit. At the end of the day, we just live scatteredly. if there's a word like that, we are not able to achieve our goals. We are not able to be consistent because our goals from the start, they are unrealistic. So if you want to be able to achieve your goals, make sure your goals are realistic. It is why I say to parents, when you set goals, just don't jump from level 1 to level 10. Move from level 1 to level 2, because level 1 to level 10, you want to faith it. Yes, okay, faith works, but level 1 to level 10, you do not have the capacity, you do not have the skill capacity, the mental capacity to move from level 1 to level 10. So eventually you may end up not being able to move there. It may just be a waste. You will not be able to achieve your goal. Now, it is what happens very many times. You hear parents say, oh, intentional parenting it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It is because they don't move from level 1 to level 2. They hear from experts. They hear from people who have worked the levels. So they just want to move to level 100. It's just like parents. You have not trained your children in certain areas, but because you hear that someone says, oh, my child can do this, just like this morning in my children's school, I was supposed to collect something from a woman yesterday, my church member. So because I went to school early, my son closes 1:30. He has started his exam. My daughter closes 4 o'clock. She has not started her exam rather. So because my daughter closes that late, and the woman's children are in my daughter's school for that 4 o'clock. So I went early, I didn't collect the thing. So I got there this morning and I was explaining to her, because I came super early. She was not like, why did you allow your daughter to be coming home by herself and all of that? I just smiled and I said, I don't even know what to tell you. Because she doesn't know the work I have done. She doesn't know the levels I have graduated from level 1 to level 2. In her mind, maybe because she has not done any work, so she has a fear that, why will I allow my daughter to walk home from this place? Because she has not done any work. So for some other people, they want to tell their children, after all, this person can walk home by herself. Why can't you walk home by yourself? And their children will struggle and they will be frustrated, and then they will come back and say, this kind of parenting doesn't work. It is why I say to parents, when you set your goals, set it goals level by level. Level by level. So I said number 4 is because we are not consistent. Number five is we do not have structure, lack of structure. When we do not have structure, we are going to just be everywhere. No structure, you don't have systems. No system, no structure. So you cannot be consistent. Structure simply means how to do things, the way to do it repeatedly. You learn it over time. Like I said, the first stage of consistency is force, will. So you have to force your structure into being. You have to force your structure into being. It is where you need all the motivation you can get. It is where you need the accountability you can get. It is when you need your discipline, all the discipline you can get. When you have been able to force your structure into being, the time of your structure, if you are structuring your home, for example, your children will test your limits. Your children will be all over the place. They will be frustrated. They will want change because the brain naturally wants new things. So your children too will be tired. They want a change. So they will press your button, they will push you, they want change. It is when you need all the motivation you can get, all the push you can get, all the self-discipline you can get. Structure. We've talked about structure too many times in this channel, so I don't want to go into structure. So what you want to do, go back to this channel, check it around. You'll see a lot of materials on structure. I also have a breakdown structure guide that you can get. If you're in the Visionary Parents Academy, what you need to do is just simply go to the
what will you celebrate at the end of the year?
What you need to do is simply go to the resource bank. You get our material on structure. Now, if you're not in the Visionary Parents Academy, you want the material, just send a message and you are going to get the material on structure. I'm going to tell you how to get the material on structure. So structure your home. Lack of structure, there is no time for anything. You just do things anytime you like. that will actually make you not to be consistent. Because like I always tell my children, you are a human being, you may forget along the way. You are a human being, your mood may set in. You are a human being, you may be tired, you may just one thing or the other may set in. You will not be able to be consistent. And the last reason why being consistent is hard for so many people is cognitive overload. Cognitive overload. For very many people, we have a lot of information. That is one of the reasons why we cannot even execute. We have knowledge, we have a lot of information. We keep taking in. I was talking to someone one time. I said, what are your hobbies? He said, research. I said, what do you do with what you research? She was looking at me. I said, that is it. At the end of the day, you just have head knowledge. You can't apply them because you are constantly overloading yourself. Now, even when you want to apply them, you are still lost at what to do. Should I apply this? Should I apply A? Should I apply B? Sometimes you just apply BA. Now, because you have too many of them in your toolbox, you apply A and the brain seeks novelty. You dump A, you go for B. Cognitive overload. You are loading yourself with a lot of information. Because of that, you are not able to stay consistent. A lot of people, they are on social media learning every single day, learning how to parent, how not to smack, how to do this. You learn and learn and learn. At the end of the day, you are not doing anything. Let me ask you, if you are a parent of toddlers, how many recipes have you copied and stored in your phone? How many? You stored a lot of recipes. Oh, puree, you stored them. Have you done one? No. Now, just imagine if it's only one. You see every time, repeatedly, that particular one keeps showing in your face, and you see the parent doing it, feeding the child every single time. I tell you, at some point, you'll be tempted to do it. But because you have a lot of them, you come here, you see, say, okay, I will do this one. Before you even finish saying, I will do this one, before you think of getting the material, you have seen another one. Before you think of getting the materials, you have seen another one. At the end of the day, you just have your brain overloaded and none you are doing. Cognitive overload. One of the reasons why you are not consistent. Consistency. Finally, because we are already 1 hour, I didn't want to spend more than 1 hour here. Consistency is not determined by talent, intelligence, or even motivation. It is shaped by the choices we make every single day. Our brains naturally seek novelty. I've explained that. Our emotions fluctuate. Relationships can either strengthen or weaken our resolves. Unrealistic expectations discourage us. Lack of structure creates confusion, and cognitive overload drains us our mental energy. Good news is that all of these obstacles are not permanent. By understanding how they work, we can intentionally build habits that support the lasting change. I'm glad you are in this class. You've taken the 6 reasons, my own 6 reasons. You may decide to go and do research further. You realize that you may get other reasons, but these are my 6 top reasons why very many people are not able to stay consistent. As vital as consistency is, many people are not able to stay consistent. And I want to encourage you. Now, the first stage of consistency is force. You have to force it. You have to now bring out your will to force yourself to be consistent. Consistency is the key to that goal you want to achieve. Consistency is the strategy you need to be successful in any area. Even when you get one big break, you cannot learn habits to sustain that big break. I tell you, you are still going to crash land. So in all you do, learn to be consistent. If it takes you going back to the beginning of this video to watch and take down all the lessons, please watch slowly and take down the lessons. Just don't take down. Make sure you apply the lessons. And if you want to join the Visionary Parent Academy, which I highly recommend, if you are a parent that you join, or if you are a parent to be, you join. Just don't join. Bring your spouse to join also. I highly recommend it. Send a message on how you can join. Our 2027 class is already taking registration. We're already registered for our 2027 class. And I tell you, when you join at the beginning of the year, you stay with us throughout the end of the year. It is a very vibrant community where we do a lot of learning, a lot of unlearning, and a lot of growing. Thank you so much for joining today. See you next time. Bye bye.